Hi everybody, it is me, Corrie Sommers, your local Los Angeles luxury realtor. Today we're going to be discussing the area of Holmby Hills in the city of Los Angeles. Stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss this. And if you haven't already done so, I just want to ask you to take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking that subscribe button below, as well as the bell for updates. Hi everybody, so again it's me, Corrie Sommers, your local Los Angeles luxury realtor. As I mentioned, today we're going to be discussing the area of Holmby Hills. Now Holmby Hills is a very affluent neighborhood here in Los Angeles. It's got some of the most expensive real estate in the entire city. Holmby Hills is also part of the Platinum Triangle, which is Holmby Hills, Bel Air, and Beverly Hills. Where exactly is Holmby Hills located, you might be wondering. So I'm going to give you a little bit of logistical, if you will. It's a very small area compared to other parts of the city of Los Angeles, and it's basically bordered by Beverly Hills to the east, Wilshire Boulevard to the south, Westwood to the west, and Bel Air on the north. So the area of Holmby Hills is mostly situated right above Sunset, and this is a neighborhood that's very rich in parks. It's got lush landscaping. There's English style street lamps, which is very unique here in the city. And those were actually installed in the neighborhood in the 1920s. The area of Holmby Hills has long been a draw to successful business owners, LA power brokers, music executives, such as Interscope founder Jimmy Iovine has lived here, Aaron Spelling, television mega producer, and Hugh Hefner. The Hugh Hefner Playboy Mansion is actually located in Holmby Hills. This is probably one of the most famous pieces of real estate here in Holmby Hills. Now, the first developer of the land that is Holmby Hills was actually Don Maximo Alanis, who was a Spanish soldier, and he acquired almost 4,500 acres of land under the Mexican land grant of 1843. He named it San Jose de Buenos Aires. Now, this is the land of Holmby Hills, where Holmby Hills is situated, Westwood, and the land that UCLA is on. In 1858, the land was sold to Benjamin Davis Wilson of the Pasadena Development Company, and he was also the second mayor of Los Angeles and the namesake for Mount Wilson, located in the San Gabriel Mountains. So it's a little bit of rich history there, if you will. And then in 1884, 2,000 acres of this land was bought by John Wolfskill, who built a ranch home, which is actually located where it's located next to LA's Temple of the LSD Church. But really, here's where we get in the nitty-gritty of what Holmby Hills is today. Holmby Hills that we know of today was actually developed by Arthur Letts Sr. and the Janus Investment Company. Now, Letts' son-in-law's family business for 2 decades had experience with subdivision building in Los Angeles. And so in 1919, Letts purchased almost 3,300 acres of what was the Wolfskill Ranch and set aside 400 acres for an estate section which became Holmby Hills. This was an area that he took and named from his family home in England, and he had already been using the name a little bit in his Grand Hollywood estate. When Letts' son-in-law, Harold Janus, took over, the zoning for the community was dividing the land up into 4-acre parcels. And they decided to name the streets after, of course, names from Great Britain. And after the Wall Street crash of 1929, this is when the mansions were actually starting to be constructed. So there was a 2-lane road that went through Holmby Hills, which was previously known as Beverly Boulevard. And this was basically how you went from Sunset Boulevard all the way down to the Pacific Ocean, and it later became named Sunset Boulevard. So in other words, Sunset Boulevard as we know it today was formerly Beverly Boulevard. Holmby Hills was actually split in 2 once Sunset Boulevard was developed. And so the north section of Holmby Hills is served by the Holmby Hills Homeowners Association, and the southern section is served by the Holmby Westwood Properties Association. So Holmby Hills basically has two homeowners association that really try to service the neighborhood and really make sure that the homeowners' concerns are being met, protect the area, and really keep everybody abreast of changes that the city might be trying to do or just things that might impact them. Now, when it came to Holmby Hills being developed, it was handled a little bit differently than its counterparts in the Platinum Triangle. The deeds were less restricted, and really there was a mentality of whoever can afford to buy here is going to build grand homes, and we don't really need to worry about that. Now, of course, they didn't allow any sort of commercial usage, but the Janus brothers actually built two homes, one for each of them, and they moved there before they started advertising the development of this area. So really their homes set the standard of the entire neighborhood. Now, when the Janus brothers were developing Holmby Hills, it was always their intention to have this be a very affluent, private area. So when they were doing construction, they really didn't do a lot of press. So they didn't want to capitalize off the notoriety of people that were buying and building homes in Holmby Hills. They didn't want to say, like today, I'll give you a prime example. Today, someone would say, I sold Magic Johnson's house for $10 million, and it would be all over the LA Times. They didn't do that. They wanted to really cater to those very affluent, wealthy people and help keep their identity quiet and protective, which actually helped build the prestige and mystique of Holmby Hills. Holmby Hills is strictly a residential neighborhood. There is no shopping, there's no restaurants, there's no kind of commercial buildings, establishments there at all. There's private security, and residents of Holmby Hills do occasionally throw parties and events, and security really can handle it. And one great example is the Playboy Mansion. When Hugh Hefner was alive, there were many parties that would take place each year at the Hugh Hefner Mansion, Playboy Mansion, and the security in Holmby Hills handled it. They have a way of designating things, controlling traffic, and really just making sure everyone is safe. Now that leads me to this. There have been a plethora of celebrities and again, power brokers and high-level executives that have lived in Holmby Hills, past and present, but I'm just going to name a few. So we obviously know Hugh Hefner, Aaron Spelling, television producer mogul, Neil Diamond, Humphrey Bogart, Barbara Streisand, Puffy has lived in Holmby Hills, and the list just goes on and on. But I will say this, there's still a lot of residents that are very private, and oftentimes some of these types of people will have their real estate agent, they'll sign a non-disclosure so that they can't go and have an ad run in the LA Times about they just sold the house for $27 million to XYZ. So there's still a high level of exclusivity and privacy to Holmby Hills. Holmby Hills is an area that is filled with lots of estates. Most homes are over $10 million, and this has really drawn some very affluent people. I just wanted to mention this too. Holmby Hills is one of the areas that Walt Disney actually has lived and held property at. So being a part of the Platinum Triangle, real estate in Holmby Hills is truly one of the world's most expensive, and I'm actually going to start going through 3 examples of properties that are on the market at the time of recording this video, but really just to help you understand how rare some of these homes are. So the first one is asking $6,495,000. It's located at 1150 Brooklawn Drive. It's a 4-bedroom, 6-bathroom, 5,500 square foot home on just a 69,000 square foot lot. So it's not a big lot. It's really an average sized lot for Los Angeles. It was designed by Tim Campbell and it was built in 2008. So it's still a relatively new home. It's a smart home with stunning finishes. The second property that's on the market today is asking $17.3 million. It's at 422 Parkwood Drive. It's a 5-bedroom, 8-bathroom home that's on 31 square feet. That's not quite an acre. It's about 3/4 of an acre. And this is a completely rebuilt estate with really, really interesting architectural design. The property is private with a gate, and the house is really a hybrid of like open, contemporary, modern design. The third property currently on the market is asking $115 million. This is located at 141 Carrollwood Drive. It's a 9-bedroom, 10 bath, 12,000 plus square foot home on almost 10 acres. This is the Owlwood Estate. It is the largest compound in Holmby Hills. It was designed by Robert Furwerk in 1936, and it's a majestic Italian estate. Now, of course, like its counterparts in the Platinum Triangle, Bel Air, and Beverly Hills, there's a wide range of home styles in Holmby Hills, from French estates to modern architecture. One of the things that's happening in all areas is developers are keeping their eye out. They're looking for a property that they can either come in and tear down or completely renovate and get a huge profit, because people will pay for a gorgeous brand new home. A lot of these homes, again, were built early on. So they were built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And that's kind of old today. I mean, you have things with plumbing, electricity was completely different demands than the way we use electricity now. And even though these are higher end homes, they were affluent areas, they can't necessarily support our lifestyle today. So there's a lot of turnover happening in these areas, a lot of new construction. I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you are considering moving to Los Angeles and you come from an area where you live in an exclusive community or a gated community, or just really kind of a step beyond, or you need a larger lot, this might be a part of Los Angeles to consider. I do have a guide below on relocating to Los Angeles, as well as a guide on Holmby Hills. I'm always here to help. Ask any questions, I will answer them. Thank you so much for watching today. And if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button below, as well as the bell for updates. And I'll see you